What's up, Yapper Nation? We're back again with another episode. We have our co-hosts here, BW Sharp and Wavion. Say hello to the people.
Hello, friends.
Yo, we got Wavion looking scrumptious today. Look how handsome he looks, right? Anyways, we're diving into today's episode. We got a lot of baseball to talk about, a lot of NBA stuff to talk about, but mainly about my cousin Vladdy. But we'll get into that later on in the episode. Now, before we even say anything, why are you guys making that face?
What's your where are you from again?
Dude, I know Black are Dominican.
No hable inglés. No hable inglés. Oh my god, that was great.
All right. Moving on. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about first? You want to talk about the NBA, or we want to jump into the MLB stuff?
I mean, I think we gotta start with the man right here on the back of my little production value
right here. It's right here, you know. Right here, you know. Hey, Raheem, show me your jersey. Show me your Vladdy jersey.
So he's sponsored by Nike, so we're actually still.
He's your cousin, and you don't have one.
Actually,
So-
he's not sponsored by Nike, but go on.
No, but a family is. So you have to
No,
there's a
no,
difference.
no,
Hold
no.
on. No, you're
Actually
not related.
He's
to Vladdy.
actually sponsored by a company, but do you know who he's sponsored by?
You're not a part of the
But
Guerrero
neither are you,
family.
though.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay, but
Like I have quinceañeras with them every other week. Like you don't
Okay,
even you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I have two questions for you.
Oh my gosh! I guess we'll get. Oh my god! Yeah, go ahead. Question that lineage.
Question number one: what is his father's name?
Abuelita. We call him Abuelita.
No, but what's his real name?
You're
I'm pretty
actually
sure.
so
I want you to know
stupid.
Abuelita is the female term, by the way.
Yeah.
So excellent.
No,
excellent that.
no, you misheard me. I said abuela. That's what we call him, abuela.
That's another female term, but go on.
Wait, don't tell him though. I need to explain something to him right when he gives.
But
the text.
anyways, guys, Vladdy's extension.
okay.
Oh my gosh, 400 million,
Raheem,
14 years. No
Raheem,
differential, right?
Whoa! Say that again. How much?
Raheem,
How do you get so much wrong? And we just
you
started the
literally have
episode.
Google in front of you.
We just started the episode too. How do you get so
Wait,
much
wait,
wrong?
Raheem.
I'm
What
going off camera.
is Vladdy's full name?
Vladimir
Mhm.
Yeah.
Santos Eguliantos Guerrero Jr. Come on, man. Lock
Right.
it in.
Okay. Right. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
No, you forgot the.
What is
Santos.
his father's name? You idiot! You're so stupid.
I thought I wasn't even asking a difficult question when I asked that. I thought you'd get that right
No.
away. Cause I was gonna like break you in.
The name.
I was gonna like tease you in. I was like, yeah, get this answer. I'm gonna ask you like a more complicated question. Couldn't even get the fucking first one.
He literally threw you a BP fastball and you swung and missed, man. Oh my god.
So the extension. How are we feeling about
How
it,
much was it again? Can you just remind me? Just tell the listeners how much it was again.
guys? I just want to say this to the audience. So, I have ADHD, and these guys are actually making fun of my syndrome, and I'm just not happy here right now.
So, a question about that. What does ADHD stand for?
And like I feel very pressured into this space that we're in right now. I feel like I'm like under the hot seat, if I may. And I didn't I don't know,
You wouldn't be under the hot seat, you'd be on top of the hot seat.
What is your self-diagnosis?
Under the hot seat is the flame, dude.
What is your?
Are we here to talk about Vladdy?
I
or
asked you a
Heems?
simple question. I
Can
asked
we
you,
talk about Vladdy or
Can you tell us what the details of the
course I
contract
can.
is?
Oh, 100%.
Without looking at
Okay,
Google, because you already said something.
I'm not.
I can
okay?
see
Hands up,
you.
hands up, hands up, hands up.
Whoa, hey, easy now.
Wow. Okay. So Vladdy has agreed to a 14-year, 500.
Not 400 like you said earlier.
No. It was 400 for him, but 100 for the family. So that's why I said 400, because he's giving 100 to the family.
Also incorrect, but okay, go on.
The whole contract's for his family.
Non-differential.
It's non-deferral. This guy's sitting there flexing. Non-differential.
Okay, cool.
What's the differential, man?
I don't know. I thought I saw it, man. Okay, go ahead, guys. I'm not talking. I'm like, yes.
What is a differential? Oh my gosh, that is so funny, man. Okay, what is today? Today's April the 8th. As of today, the contract has not been signed, but it has been agreed to, so it will happen once he passes the physical, which will probably happen in Toronto. But it is 14 years, $500 million, the third richest contract in Major League Baseball history, more than the highest paid player in the NBA. He will be a Toronto Blue Jay until the age 41 season in 2039, I think, is when it'll finish.
Yeah, because he's 26 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going from 26 until.
If he retires, okay, what's the average age that baseball players retire at?
The average is very low, actually. The average is like in the 30s.
Okay,
I think mid-30s, 34, 35.
So how does that contract work? If he retires before that contract ends, like how does that work?
If he retires before the contract ends, he gets a prorated amount, so he won't get the full. If he gets injured, he still will get the money.
Yeah, it's like full guarantees, no deferrals, full trade, like no trade clause, full.
Yeah, full no trade clause. It's fully guaranteed. Everything in baseball is fully guaranteed. He will be a Blue Jay until he's 41.
Okay.
And it's the very first time this has happened in Toronto for a Blue Jays player ever.
Yeah.
So how does this stack up against like the rest of like the bigger superstar like contracts?
Shohei Ohtani's contract is $700 million.
God damn.
Oh, hold on. Wait first.
Juan Soto's contract is $765 million, and
Wait.
with incentives, it goes up to $800.
$800 million?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it goes Juan Soto, and then Shohei Ohtani, and then Vladimir Guerrero,
and then Mike Trout.
And then Mike Trout. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't know baseball had this much money.
No, they have money, man. Like your top players will get paid.
Baseball's flush with money.
The difference, though, with the NBA, I know what you're kind of thinking here, Raheem. The difference is with the NBA, the max you're allowed to give anyone is a 5-year contract. But MLB, they're giving out 14-year contracts, 15-year contracts. So the annual average equals the same as like the Jason Tatum contract or the Steph Curry contract or the Jaylen Brown contract. Yeah. It's just they have just a longer ass contract.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was telling Davey on this offline, is if we were able to provide him this type of offer months ago before Juan Soto, and we had pen to paper, signed Vladdy, gave him an extension, what would have happened with our discussions with Juan Soto? Could we have more likely have gotten him? And I'm thinking probably, because there's more certainty of the future of the Jays when you're locking up your star player. Like why, like Juan Soto and Vladdy, like we mentioned in the last episode, are like close friends. You know, family knows each other. You know, the culture is all connected, and Vladdy's friends with all of them, right? And Juan Soto took the meeting with the Jays, hoping to play with Vladdy, but like he didn't know if Vladdy was actually going to be here or not. If we made this deal,
he couldn't give them any assurances either.
Yeah,
because he didn't know that he was going to be here until yesterday.
And I feel like if we made this deal, if we all came to an agreement in the winter before the free agency was a thing, I think the team would look a little bit different and in the better.
Well, let's take a look at it from that perspective in that time. So the World Series is over. You can sign whoever you want to whatever extension or to whatever contract. Mm-hmm. The Blue Jays are looking at the offseason, and they're looking at players they're trying to land and what money they have available to land players, right? So Juan Soto's on the top of that list. Corbin Burns is on that list. Max Fried's on that list. These are players. Juan Soto at the time was looking at least $600 million. We didn't know how far it was going to go. Those starting pitchers are going to make $300+ million a year, or $300+ million contracts. So you have to be aggressive because you're in a division with the Red Sox, the Yankees, Baltimore, Houston, the Dodgers. Like you're looking at all those other players or all those other teams that are vying for these same players, right?
Yep.
When you
So
look at it from that perspective, I don't think they were gonna give Vladdy the $500 million in November. They
Oh, fair
probably
enough.
they probably started talking to him
Mm.
obviously at 350.
I was about to say,
Four.
I think I heard that number too. Their starting offer was around 350, 360 for however many years.
If I remember correctly, I think in the middle of the season last year we offered like a 10-year 350, and he said no. You know,
Mhm.
obviously.
Obviously.
And then in the negotiations, I think they escalated from the Blue Jays max was 400 million, I think, and they escalated from that to 450 before the trade or before the talks broke down in
Mm.
spring training.
Mm.
And then what really happened is in that month, they were under so much scrutiny, the Blue Jays, I mean, to get this deal done because Vladdy was like, I want to be here. I'm not going to fully close the door. I will listen to a reasonable offer. That is literally what he said.
Mm.
Himself, not through an interpreter. He made it known himself that he said these things. And I mean, this is not only a question of his legacy, but I think the legacy of the front office because they gave out contracts to their guys, quote unquote, which would be Randall Grichuk, who's no longer on the team, and we traded him at the end of his contract. And I think that's actually it.
We never had to like extend like Jose or Edwin,
No, they let Edwin walk.
right?
Ironically, to the team that they were managing before in Cleveland,
Right. Yeah.
and they played Jose Bautista year by year.
Yeah.
They signed him to a 1-year deal because nobody else wanted it. And
See.
then he kind of broke down at the end of the season.
I'm surprised we never
That was
even like
it.
re-signed like
Uh,
JD.
Josh Donaldson wasn't even in the question. They ended up trading him to Cleveland too. Marcus Stroman was traded.
I
Marco
remember
Estrada
that.
played out his contract and retired after. J. Happ we traded J. Happ and then re-signed him.
Right. Ray.
Roberto Osuna became a domestic abuser, so that had to be settled.
I remember Robbie Ray
um,
left to Seattle.
Yeah,
Same
Robbie
with-
Ray left to Seattle.
Same with
If
Marcus.
you look at our starting rotation, actually, there's nobody in our starting rotation that came north with the team this year that was developed by the Blue Jays.
Right. Excellent.
Gosman signed, Bassett signed, Barrios trade and then signed, Scherzer signed, and Bowden Francis was a trade. So a lot of what was left back then there's nothing left of that old team, and there was no extension signed. There were no players really to sign. Edwin was old, Jose was old, JD was getting there, and I mean he just retired about a year ago. Right. So I mean there was gonna be no money in the books, right? And they had to change the narrative of like if you let this guy walk, you understand what this means. Like this team's gonna be bad for 5 years, maybe more. And the last time the Blue Jays were this bad, they flirted with moving the team.
Jeez.
So, yeah. And it wasn't because they wanted to, it was because they weren't making.
Right. Yikes.
So they had to, like, Toronto's a town where if you're not the Leafs, you have to win for people to show up.
Yep.
And people understand that run the team. And it really was Edward Rogers coming in and saying, you guys have to get this done. I'm giving you the money to do it. And I'll pretty much meet any demand he wants. He sounds pretty reasonable because he's not coming here asking me for Shohei Ohtani money. He's asking for well below that because he understands his. So if you guys can't get this done, I'm going to get somebody else to get this done because they were both Shapiro and Atkins are on the hot seat. On the hot seat, not under the hot seat. So I'm glad it happened. I'm glad the saga's over. We can move on. There are other players on this team that we can extend.
Bo Bichette,
I think is the next thing to get done, and I think that should be way easier to do because number one to Bo Bichette signing with Toronto is Vladdy being here, and Vladdy's going to be here. So get it done.
I hope.
I'm extremely happy though.
I hope he retained Bo. I like him. I know he had an off year last year. I know he's made some comments as well, but I'm a big fan of Bo. Bo knows.
Bo Bichette is a you know what you're gonna get out of him.
Yeah.
Last year was a down year, and I think everybody is susceptible to a down year. Everybody's had a down year. Barry Bonds had down years. Like
Yeah.
it happens, right? He's come out hitting this season. He's playing good defense, way better than he's ever played in his career. And the stats actually back that up. I'm not just saying that based off the eye test. He's fired up, right? So you want a guy like that on your team. And I said this a couple years ago. He's kind of like the Derek Jeter on our team. Not just because he plays the same position. It's the presence that he brings, and it's the acumen he brings to the game and what he's interested in doing with this team. I mean, it's all about rings. They all want to win a ring here.
I love it.
So
Love to hear that.
let's keep those players here.
Love to hear that.
Me too.
Yeah, man. Well, let's switch gears because Raheem might like fall asleep again. And let's talk about what's happening in the NBA. Big news came out today.
LeBron's getting a Ken doll. LeBron's getting a Ken doll, right? That's the big news?
Close.
Something like that.
Something like that. No, Raheem's favorite head coach got fired today.
Yep. And before we even dive into that, that's
Is
what
he
happens when you
actually?
talk. Hold on, that's what happens when you talk on LeBron James and the Lakers. Bad things happen to you.
All right.
Wait, so he's not your favorite?
No, I fucking hate that guy. He's literally a weirdo. He has made everything about the Lakers. Okay,
Right.
yes, they beat us. Da da da. Oh, I'm the Lakers daddy. Well, you can be the Lakers daddy from the comfort of your home, because you're not a head coach in NBA anymore. I'm very happy with the news. It made my day.
All right. You do
What?
know, remember when the Nuggets beat the Lakers, the Lakers fired their head coach, right? You remember that, right?
Okay, don't
Alright.
say their head coach. Please name the head coach.
Frank Vogel. Do you even know who that is?
Are we gonna forget who Frank Vogel was?
An NBA champion?
Frank Vogel. Oh, okay, let's not do that.
But he was though.
No,
he won a ring.
Let's not give him that credit. Let's not.
But he
do that.
won a ring.
Frank Vogel was a horrible head coach. Okay, and it's like from Frank Vogel to Darvin Ham, there was no rest. There was no rest for the wicked. We were clearly the wicked ones. All right?
NBA champion, two-time All-Star head coach.
Frank
Yeah,
Vogel
what you
was
were getting
horrible.
at?
This
Frank
man.
Vogel was horrible, like horrible. All right, but my thing about Mike Malone was that like he was so focused on just talking about the Lakers every chance that he got. It was just weird. Like, bro, you have a star. You won a championship. People are talking about like, oh my gosh, they're gonna win again. Like this is the team to look out for in the Western Conference. And the only thing you can say is, yeah, LA, Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, we're talking about Lakers. To beat the Lakers. Yeah, I'm the Lakers daddy. Yeah, Lakers can't beat us. Da da da. Like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Focus on your team.
Can I maybe poke a hole in this a little bit?
Go ahead.
Please.
If LeBron is in Cleveland, for example,
Mhm.
you don't care what he says about the Lakers, right?
But if LeBron was in Cleveland, he wouldn't care about the Lakers.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Lakers would still try to find a way to be on top of them.
No, his whole thing was centered around LeBron and the Lakers. Like his whole kind of
Right. So if LeBron's on a
hate
different
raid.
team, though, he's not
Yeah.
gonna.
He doesn't give a shit about the Lakers.
I'm not gonna say he's not gonna give a shit about the Lakers because I
Like,
think
he
he's gonna
beats
give a
them, but
shit
he's not
about the
gonna
team that's in
bring
his
them up.
conference.
Well, he
'Cause
beats
he's in-
them, but he's not gonna bring them up in his press conferences like how he did recently in the past.
So, okay, let me interject here. I think a big reason, yes, I agree. It's weird. You know, like he talks about the Lakers a lot, but where this all stemmed from was their playoff series where the Nuggets where the Lakers beat the Nuggets, and Lakers are just talking mad greasy about the Nuggets, their coach, yada yada, and then the Nuggets got their revenge, right? And they made it to the NBA Finals, and they won, and then they got even further revenge the year after when they eliminated the Lakers in the first round, whatever it was.
Yes.
And I think like it all stems from there. Like, yeah, you know, as a head coach, listen, you can have your rivalries clearly, but you can't keep. You got to keep it professional and stop talking about the Lakers. Like, it's just weird. But at the same time, there's a deep there is a rivalry there, a current age rivalry between the Nuggets and the Lakers. And what doesn't help is the Lakers have one of the dumbest fandoms on the planet. Like, I'm talking to one of them right now. Like, they're unbelievably obsessive. They're unbelievably
I'm
obsessive with
not a
everything
Lakers
Laker
fan. I'm
related.
a LeBron James fan. So there's a difference.
But because of that,
You were just kind of defending the Lakers.
and
I'm
you're
just like
you're a
that. You
LeBron
were
fan that
just
goes
defending.
with the Lakers, and you
Yeah.
kind of just low key said that if LeBron was in Cleveland, you basically become a Cleveland fan. Like you're like
Yeah.
a frontline defender of Cleveland. You're a frontline
Yeah,
defender
go
And this
wherever he
of
dude
the
goes.
may
Lakers.
not even be on your radar. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? Like to what Ronnie was saying, there's a rivalry there budding, and I feel like if LeBron doesn't go there, however many years it was ago that he went there, right? They're gonna
Mhm.
figure out different ways to make that club competitive. The
Mhm.
Lakers are the Yankees of the NBA. The Yankees don't lose. The Lakers don't lose for long. So, yeah, it is weird that you're fixating on one team, but at the same time, I can also kind of understand it. Now, am I going to say that's probably why he got fired? No, I
No.
think there's
So
some stuff going on, but it is what it is. When it comes
it
to
is what
Lakers,
it is.
I just,
I'm happy
I
as
just,
shit.
I know, yeah, I get it. I get it. You're happy, but I think the point that both Ronnie and I were trying to make, LeBron's not even tied to that team. I don't know if many Lakers fans even care.
Okay, I would agree. I can agree to some extent, I'd say.
Okay.
Okay? Can leave that at. In terms of why he got fired, I read a lot of rumors saying that he basically just lost the team. Basically, no one actually really gave a shit about what he had to say.
That's
His
so
words were just falling
crazy.
on deaf ears. But like you could tell, like I wouldn't say you could tell, but like, and this is one thing I'll touch on too. I hate when players play horrible and organizations blame it on the coach. The first thing is like,
Yeah.
yo, it's the coach's fault.
Yeah.
That really irritates me because you have a guy like Nikola Jokic that's going out there and having like historic games. He had a 60-point triple double and lost. Okay, that's nuts. All right. I think there's been a couple games in a row. Maybe the last 4 or 5 games I've been just like looking over, and he's had like a 30 or 40-point triple double,
Yep.
and they're trailing, they're down, and they're losing, and it's like, how, like, what else can a coach do to even help that team?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
I know
play the
like
game.
rotations matter and stuff like that, but he's not physically on the court. Like, how can you blame him, right?
Yeah.
But like, fuck him.
okay. Weird. I hate that I'm semi agreeing with Raheem, but like
You're
absolutely right.
you're making a great point, and then you just didn't end
yeah.
it.
No, like, I made a great point, like in terms of like coaching, but like overall, but like for him specifically, like fuck him. Like I know
For
it's
my
like an awkward thing.
here's
but, like,
here's what
whatever.
just happened. Here's what just happened for my Office fans. Here's what happened. Raheem was following the GPS, right? He's like, I'm gonna listen to it, and there's a road on the left hand side, and there's a river on the right, and the GPS says turn right because he meant to bear right all along the fucking lake, and he goes into the water. That's what just happened.
Sounds about right. You know, yeah, you're making such a good point there, Raheem, and you just fucking ruined it all. Because like you're right.
Whatever.
It's not.
Because I do agree with you. I do agree with you. The players have to play the game. The coach can't get on the court and play the game.
I put a lot of blame.
I mean,
on,
yeah, there are things for a coach to do. Like they make the play, they make the calls of what the players are supposed to do. The players have to play the game. If they don't
Yeah.
play the game, what the hell?
I put a lot of the blame on like the GM because the GM created such a terrible roster to revolve around Jokic. Like what is this like head coach supposed to do? Like what's Mike Malone supposed to do? He can't go out
Yeah.
there and play. And he was like
Yeah.
they're like 4th place, almost 3rd place, about to make a playoff push. Like they're a contender this year. So it's so bizarre the timing of this. Like if you want to do it after after the playoffs. Like I don't understand why you're doing it now because now you've ruined your chances in the playoffs. Like you really think you're gonna win with this interim head coach? No, the team is so dissolved now. They don't like they're so like shocked of what's happening.
But
You
I feel
can't
like-
radically change the offense's like profile over a few games.
No,
But I feel like if like once a coach like loses the locker room and like you lose respect of your players, like it's like okay, like this makes no sense.
Yeah, but I
Right.
think you're so far late into the season to make that kind of change, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because if you're halfway through the season, you're at the All-Star break or something, and you've already lost the locker room, make the change then,
yeah.
right? I've seen that across sports in general, in all the
Mhm.
sports. It's happened in Toronto too. with the Blue Jays. I've seen that happen. To do it now is very puzzling to me.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I yes, I understand. Like, hey, there's some difference of opinions in that locker room, but at the end of the day, what's the goal? Everybody's
Yeah.
trying to win the championship, right?
Yeah.
So let's try to. We'll give it one more shot, and if something really bad, if it's a first, whatever the case may be, just let him go.
Your eyes were like both.
Yeah, I know.
And your camera was frozen.
I saw it stop. I had to hold it back in for a second.
That was freaking great. Oh.
Yeah, that was scary as shit. Oh my god. Oh
It's a
shit.
smile. It's a smile movie.
That was scary as shit. No, absolutely. Like, it's just, yeah, it's bad. You know, I read a stat that in the last 10 years, there's been 5 head coaches fired, like, shortly after, like, a few years later, after winning a ring. Do you guys know who those 5 coaches are?
No.
So let's go. I don't.
Shortly after winning a ring.
Yeah. So in the last 10 years. So I'm not even looking at the list. I want to like see if we can figure it out ourselves. There's Mike
Hey,
Malone.
Frank Vogel.
Yep, Frank Vogel. Mike Malone, Frank Vogel, Bud,
Okay. Yes. Oh, yes.
Nick Nurse.
But
Nah.
did he get fired or just leave?
He got
No,
fired.
he got fired.
Oh, okay.
And now
He
there's
got
a
balls sacked.
no. He got wow. It was mutual, but like it was a firing. And there's a 5th one. I'm trying to remember. So in the last 10 years, who won? The Raptors, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Bucks,
Warriors, but
the
they
Warriors,
didn't change anything.
the Cavs.
Had it been one of those Cavs teams,
So they fired Ty.
didn't they fire Ty when
Did they
LeBron
fire?
was there?
Did they fire Ty? No, I don't think so. They fired
No,
the first coach and brought Ty Lue. Then LeBron left.
Didn't Ty Lue leave too? They didn't fire him.
Is that the case? So, okay, 10 years ago was what? 2015. So the winners were the Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Raptors, Lakers,
Yeah.
Bucks,
Boston?
Warriors, no, Warriors, Celtics, Nuggets, Celtics.
Yeah.
So the Celtics head coach was the new guy. So they
Yeah.
had previously fired whomever. The Warriors head coach has always been Steve Kerr. So it has
Yeah.
to be Ty Lue.
Okay. Well, Ty Lue. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Huh. That's
Shout out
a
Allen
okay.
Iverson.
that's a crazy stat. So winning a ring doesn't give you like security, I guess. Like cool, thanks, bye. And I feel like a lot of that is because it's the players say. I feel like the league has become too, what can I say, player controlled in a sense, where if the player, if your star player, if your star player is very unhappy with like the effort or the coach or something's wrong with the coach, they're gonna let them go. It's potentially like that with Michael Malone. Who knows? It's rumored to be like that with the firing of the Memphis coach. It was rumored to be like that with the firing of Mike Brown in Sacramento. We've heard of this with LeBron James. I feel like we've heard of this with Kevin Durant. With what was it, the Nets? They got rid of Steve Nash because Durant and Kyrie weren't happy. I heard that they got rid of whomever was there in Phoenix and got Frank Vogel because KD wasn't happy.
But Steve Nash was horrible.
Yes.
But
Yes,
he was horrible.
So
yes.
is the league? Is this like an exclusively? Is this an exclusive issue to the NBA? Because I feel like when what you just brought up is top players don't like the coach that's on their team, and they go and complain about it, most likely through their agent to the front office, and then the front office does something about it. There's nothing that ever happens between player and coach to try and fix anything. Is that is that how I'm supposed to understand the situation?
I want to feel like the players have these discussions with the coaches first, and then they kind of further like escalate things.
Like in the NBA, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Because like I think like this off rip, you have a problem, and then going straight to the front office, kind of like one, it's undermining, and two, it doesn't help anybody at all.
Yeah.
Right. And it makes you also think of like the greats like Eric Spoelstra, Greg, and Steve Kerr, who have like been in their same team, their same organizations for years. Like,
Yeah.
what are they doing different from
There
like
there
coaches
was
like that shit stain Mike Malone? Like what is the difference there? Sorry,
there was a
I hate the
time
guy.
where it's crazy. There was a time where I know Spoelstra was on the hot seat.
Not
Uh
under.
during his like early tenure with the Heat with LeBron and Wade. And it wasn't until like
Mhm,
they won like their first ring, it was like, okay, Spoelstra's fine. Because
mhm.
they're literally like, hey, get rid of Spoelstra, bring back Pat Riley, make him become the head coach again, as if that's the solution. But thankfully, they kept Spoelstra, and now look at him now. Um, I think, like, yeah, it's hard. I feel like as a coach, you feel like you're walking on eggshells sometimes around these players, especially these like
Mm,
really strong star players that have a lot of sway and pull. And
yeah.
you're just so afraid to say no to them, right? Like, oh, am I gonna get fired today if I bench them, or if I don't let them take the shot, or if I criticize them and the presser about their poor defense? Who
Like
knows?
So
the authority should come from the front office though, which the
Yeah,
coach is a member of.
yeah,
but this is my thing. Criticizing your star player in front of the media is a no-go. I think that those are conversations that should be held in team meetings or like one-on-ones or over a phone call. But like going to the media saying, you know what?
yeah,
Darren Fox, he ain't play no defense. I hate that guy. I don't want to start him ever again. Like that's
yeah.
where you kind of just like there's gonna create a rift,
I agree with
right?
that. Yeah,
So like that needs to like be held behind closed doors, in my
you
opinion.
want to
But
keep your
I'm
players
looking at
accountable, but
it.
not like that.
yeah,
I'm looking at it from a different sport perspective, but that happens, or it happened a lot in baseball,
Mm.
where they would call out players for um dumb mistakes on the field. And it actually just happened, I think, last week. Or maybe this week, like Monday or Tuesday in Baltimore. Their big free agent signing was Tyler O'Neill. He's been playing right field for them this year. He is thrown to the wrong base, costing them runs in games a lot this in a week, right? And
Excellent.
the manager just straight up went out and said, "Hey, Tyler's thrown to the wrong base about 3 times this week, and it's cost us runs. So we've got to tighten that up."
Mm.
It's a
Uh,
managerial style, right? Like it's
yeah,
a thing that some will do, not all will do. Like I don't expect John Schneider to do that unless he's pissed off about something that they've worked on,
right.
right? And it keeps on happening. That's usually the catalyst to a lot of these things. It was really odd for it to be at the beginning of the season where he mentions this about the guy that you just paid a lot of money to as
Yeah,
a member of the front office.
very weird timing. Yeah.
Um, but I do think there is too much power amongst players.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and in the NBA, it's evident. It's seen it a couple times in baseball. I think there has to be a power balance again,
okay.
right? Like the authority has to come from the organization. It shouldn't come from the players.
So I don't 100% agree with that part with it being like the players have too much power because I think the players should have all the power because at the end of the day, they're the product of the NBA. They're the entertainment. We're there to watch the Kevin Durant's, LeBron James, the Darren Foxes, not Ben Simmons, but like not just Tatum, but like the other
What?
players.
I want to know why Ben Simmons was even in your head there.
I don't know. He just came in my pause.
Hey,
He just came up
yo.
in my head.
I was like, he came into the brain, and you're like not Ben Simmons.
But I think they need like they're the product. We're there to watch them. I think they need to have that kind of power because like
But isn't that a
I'm not
separate
there to watch
conversation
Doc
though?
Rivers.
Isn't
A
that a
separate
separate
conversation.
conversation? Yeah, because you're more so talking about it from the perspective of marketing and like butts and seats, and like I think you're going to see those players on the court no matter what, right? They're gonna play the best they can because they're professionals. As far as I mean, your John Tay, whatever his name is, that got booked for gambling. Um, but I think I think it still goes back to the players are being paid by the team to play a certain way.
And it's like the team's making money off of these players.
Yeah, but
And
they're being compensated for that.
oh yeah, 100% they're being compensated.
It's not
But
like
what happens when
college.
okay, but what happens when that player is so unhappy with the coach that now they're deciding to leave and they're leaving with all that that revenue that they brought in, all the fans that came to watch them from whatever team morale, like whatever the case may be. Like if I'm trying to make my star player happy at all times.
Right. Okay. So let's say, okay, let's look at it from a hypothetical, right? I am. Let's pick a random team. I'm Phoenix.
Mhm.
Kevin Durant is on my team and he's a star.
Yep.
Devin Booker's on my team and he's I guess he's still a star. I don't really fully
Yeah.
know.
The star.
He's in Call of Duty. I don't know.
Oh.
Um, those two don't like my head coach, and they've
Okay.
come to me as the president of basketball ops or whatever, and they've said,
Mhm.
"Hey, we've gone and we've talked to this person. We're not seeing eye to eye whatsoever. This is how we think we should be played, and this is how he's playing us. It's costing us games." Um, the organization now has to make a decision on that head coach.
Yep.
If the organization doesn't do anything and they stand pat, I think it's just it's a sign of a bad organization,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we're talking about the organization not doing what they need to do to A, make their player happy, and B, potentially losing that player. Because now they're
Yeah.
going to request a trade. Now they're going to walk in free agency. So I think what you mentioned is a byproduct of bad organizations versus good organizations. But again, I think the players have to realize I'm being paid X amount of dollars to play for
Mhm.
this team, and I need to play the way that we all agree will be the best for us to win a championship. It's not necessarily the best to put to put people's butts in the seats, because I mean, and that'll come with winning.
Yeah.
That is not
Yeah.
something I think the players need to worry about or need to they don't need to play their game for people to come watch them play. They need to play to win.
Right.
So I think the core thing is the players need to buy into the organizational um, philosophy.
Yeah. So like
And if the
some like
organization doesn't do what they need to do to appease the player when they bring up issues, bad organization, and they're putting themselves at risk of losing these players.
So like some teams, I do agree. Some teams they do have a system, and players have to buy into that system. For example, the Golden State Warriors. You come to their organization, you have to buy into that. You have to know that they pass like 2016, whatever. They move the ball out, they pass the ball, they set screens. Steph's coming up, he's shooting. You have to buy into playing and buy into like changing your play style to fit that. When you go to like different teams, let's say Miami. Jimmy Butler going to Miami. He didn't really have to buy into their system. He kind of brought his own system there, and everybody kind of like revolved around him in that case. So
Mhm.
especially in the Jimmy scenario, you have to make him happy. Okay, he is your system. So you have no without him. Everybody's kind of like running rampant like chickens with their head cut off.
Yeah, but did it work?
They didn't make him happy,
But did they
right?
win a championship though?
No, because well, they tried to win a championship. He did the best that he could,
They came close. Yeah, they definitely came close.
right? And then
Twice.
he was
But they
there.
didn't. They didn't.
They
They
were
didn't
not
execute.
even like supposed to be. If we're being honest, like was he? He was at the eighth seed in one year. That year that they beat Boston.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
they were the
yeah.
eighth seed,
It
right?
was when they
Like
lost to the Nuggets. Yeah.
yeah, like eighth seed. Nobody's really expecting you to go to the NBA Finals, and that's something
They
that
did.
he did. Like we can say that Jimmy Butler brought that organization to a final,
Twice.
right?
Yeah,
Twice,
yeah.
right? So it's like you want to make that person happy, and all he did was like, I need more pieces. I need something to work with because I brought you to a finals back to back, and you have done absolutely nothing,
And that's the sign of a bad organization.
right? So it's like yes, the players like shouldn't have a lot of power, but at the same time, yes, they do need to have a power. There's certain players that do
I think
deserve that power.
I think Jimmy is an interesting case though, because I feel like they also understand what they were getting themselves in. Right? Jimmy's
Mhm.
not your run of the mill superstar, I will say. He's not like LeBron.
Yeah,
He's not like
nobody's like my king.
KD. He's not like he's more so, I think, like Michael Jordan. He has
Wow.
that mentality. No, I'm not saying on the court. I'm saying just from a mentality standpoint, right? Where he's gonna come in and you're gonna
Okay,
do
I'm
things his
sorry.
way.
Can we use a different reference?
So he's
Let's
more like
say
Michael
he's
Jordan.
Can you just get past that for a quick second? what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to actually build your point, which is you bring in Jimmy Butler and he's gonna do certain things for you because that's the way he plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar to what Michael. We've all seen The Last Dance.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan essentially went in and ran practices, and he told the team what they were gonna do,
Yeah.
and that's what they did to go and win. The thing is that he had some good role players, not superstars necessarily, but some good role players that did what they needed to do when they needed to do it.
So with MJ, like MJ is a product of actually buying into the system. So before like him okay, so Phil Jackson came and like incorporated like the triangle offense, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
MJ, you have been doing your best. It's taking you absolutely nowhere. Okay, you're not winning. You need to buy into the system to be able to win. Okay, he lost. I think the previous year he bought into the system. They won their first championship. So that's like kind of like
Right,
wouldn't
but
say
I'm talking about towards the end of the run, like the last two
okay.
rings.
Okay.
I'm specifically remembering towards the end of that show or that documentary that we've all seen, where he's running a practice, and they're going for like 6 hours. It's around the same time as a flu game. He wasn't sick yet, but
So like I think that's all, but I think that's always
well,
been a part
but
of like
okay,
MJ's thing though. Like he's always
right.
gotten in there and like ran things. Like he's like, I'm the man, I'm the face of the NBA, I'm the greatest player of all time. Like he carried that
So that's what
aura
I'm trying. No,
with
but
him.
that's what I'm trying to say. He is the type of personality that will do that, and the organization understands that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's working on the court. It's working in the paint. Like it's working because they won 6 times with the man, right? What I was trying to say with Jimmy is Jimmy is very similar in the sense
Okay.
of I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do, and it's gonna be up to you, as in
To
the rest of the
actually
team and the
execute it.
organization, to execute and buy in. The team
Okay.
didn't do that,
Yeah.
right? And because the team didn't do that, they didn't execute. He got frustrated, wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I again, he had the power in that scenario. And I think it wasn't necessarily a bad thing because it illuminated the fact that organization wasn't doing the right thing. When players are coming in though and they're saying, "Hey, I just don't like the way this guy talked to me this one time and I want to get rid of him." That's a problem.
yeah, okay, that I can agree with. And
Yeah.
I think also with the Jimmy thing is that he wasn't actually beefing with Eric Spoelstra, he was beefing with Pat.
Correct. And it's like
Who
upper
runs the
management,
team?
entire team. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was actually beefing with the front office. Like he wasn't mad at like Eric, like like you're doing the best with what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I guess. Yeah. Anyways, I think we kind of like spent the whole podcast talking
That's
about
okay.
that. But we can dive into very quickly Carmelo Anthony being inducted into
LaMelo?
the wow. Anyways,
That's what
into
I
the Hall of
said.
Fame. I've also seen a little note here that he's played more games in the last 7 years than Joel Embiid. That's unfair.
Which, no,
Joel
has,
Embiid is sorry.
no, but my point to that is like it's hilarious because like Melo's been retired for 2 to 3 years. And he still played more games than Embiid has in the last 7 years. Like that's actually embarrassing. Because Embiid's a bum.
He's a bum. Yeah,
When
well,
did Embiid come into the
Melo.
league? What year? What
2014.
year did he start?
2014.
2014. Okay, so Blue Jays just signed an extension with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Joel Embiid was in the league in 2014. Vladdy was still like 13 when he
Damn.
was in the league,
Damn, yeah.
and Vladdy's probably going to play more games than that guy
Oh,
if you aggregate it.
he probably already has.
Yeah.
Probably. Joel Embiid is a bomb.
I think he needs to
Facts.
do something else, like I don't know, be a
He
TV
should
analyst
become
or
a.
something.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing.
What
Right.
in French though? Like what are we saying here?
Yeah, in French or like
In
go
Cambodian?
troll Charles Barkley or something. I don't know, but
No,
the
you know
people waste
what?
money. He's retired.
Joel and Charles and Shaq would be a great show.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be a great show.
Have 0 listeners and do whatever they want. But I'm very happy for Carmelo though. I think he deserved it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, thoughts on him having one of the best freshman seasons in all of college history?
Yeah, I think it's pretty
Wasn't even
accurate.
on my radar.
That's pretty like everyone's. I think almost everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed not to think that. MVP he won the Final Four. You know, then he got drafted behind LeBron. Like what else could you ask for, right?
All right, so let's talk about his NBA career just a little bit. Do we think that he had a great career or a subpar career? And okay, let's not talk about the same players that he drafted with and his era, but like, did he live up to, I guess, the hype, or we
So
can just say he
let me
had a
tell
good
you
run?
let me tell you this. So year one, okay, year one, and I'm gonna talk about the other players in the draft too. Year
Okay.
one, only one of those players from the top 5 went to the playoffs, and that was Carmelo Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have. I honestly, I wouldn't have been mad if he won Rookie of the Year. I think Melo lived up to the hype and then some. The only stain is that he couldn't win a ring, but like he wasn't on like any crazy ass teams. The competition was fierce at the time. Like he was going up like in the West, he was going up against Kobe, you know, going up against
Yeah.
Dirk, going up a young Thunder team, and they tried. They brought Chauncey, you know, like they tried to help the man,
Yeah.
and he just couldn't do it. When he moved to New York, it was fun. They brought Amari Stoudemire. Didn't work because then at the time Miami was still running shit, right? And like,
Yeah.
LeBron still stayed in the East, so it's just poor timing of everything that Carmelo did because of how strong the LeBron James, the Dwayne Wade's were, you know, like. But I think as a career, one of the best pure scorers. The accolades are all there. The
Okay.
All Stars are there. 4 gold medals, like that's very impressive. No matter what anyone
Yep.
says, I think it's very rewarding. And if you compare it to like other players that are in the Hall of Fame, like my beloved Vince Carter, the GOAT, you know, Mitch Robinson, all of TMC, like, those guys who don't have rings, you know, there's a bunch of players in there that don't have rings. Carmelo like stands above them. T Mac, you know, like the best comparison is T Mac and Melo. Some of the best
My
scorers.
beloved Vince Carter. Ugh. Anyways,
The
One thing I'll
GOAT.
say about Carmelo, coming from, I didn't really watch a lot of Carmelo growing up because I wasn't really much into basketball back then.
Mhm.
But one thing I will say, there were way more Carmelo Anthony jerseys at my schools that I went
Mm.
to than there
Yeah.
were Carter jerseys, Bosch jerseys, LeBron jerseys. Like everybody had a Melo jersey.
Melo was
Everybody.
pretty popular because of that his celebration that he did. Like when he scored, he did this. Like that was extremely popular. Everybody knows
It was even
that.
I
before
was
that,
doing
that's
that
Melo,
before I knew
right?
what that meant.
It was his Nuggets time that he was so popular. It
Yeah.
With AI.
lose popularity. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was like the
Aura.
cornrows, the 3 points, the number 15 on the Nuggets. Like, it was nice. You
Yeah.
know?
The amount of brown boys I saw with cornrows was embarrassing.
Oh, wow.
I think I now that I'm really thinking about it too, I think a lot of it was people didn't like LeBron at first because they thought, hey, he's so overhyped. But look, there's Carmelo,
Yeah.
second overall. He's gonna be better. Oh, sorry, not second, third overall. I think he's gonna be better.
Isn't it crazy that his draft class is going into the Hall of Fame and LeBron's still in the
Yeah.
league
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually crazy.
at a very elite level?
Yeah.
That's my king.
Okay.
You didn't have to make it. You didn't have to
Okay.
make it weird, man. You really
That's
didn't have
what
to make
I'm
it
saying.
weird.
Anyways, all right. Let's move on. I've been dying to talk about this because I found this out pretty recently. So we're talking about the NCAA Final Four. I did not watch the finals, but shout out to the Gators. They came out on top. Woohoo.
Sign of the times.
Now, we're here to talk about one player, one of the most talked about freshmen all year. All right, he had a crazy high school career. Like everyone talked about it. He's gonna be the next best thing out of Maine, Portland, right? That's where he's from.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cooper Flag. Now-
oh brother.
Game on the line. Okay, I was
What are
at
you
work when I watching it. Game on the line. Catches the ball. I think in the mid range. Does a turnaround, whatever. Shoots the ball. Boom, off of the front rim. Decided way to go out. But after the game, you know what I realized?
What?
You know who his favorite player in the NBA is? Someone he looks up to. You know who he looks up to?
Oh man.
You know who he looks up to?
Yo. Oh wait, hold on. You need full screen for that.
Jason Tatum. That's right. That's what happens when you look up to Jason Tatum. You lose games.
The same
Think of a
Jason,
meaningful
Superstar.
game.
the same Jason Tatum that just won a ring and might win another one. Yeah.
Not a Finals MVP.
Did
though.
you see the stats though? Like I'm looking at the stats of that Cougars Devils game, and it's like, bro, 7, 16, 6, 27 points from Cooper. Like the rest of them guys ain't doing shit.
He was hooping. But that's usually how it is in college, right?
Yes,
like you have like one guy that is like just nuts, and then everybody's just kind of there like supporting and whatever. I think that's where the big programs have like a downfall. They kind of just have like one main focus, one guy that's gonna be one and done, and everybody there is like, okay, we're gonna get through our 4 years, get a degree, and then we're out of here.
Yeah,
right?
That's really big with the big top tier D3 teams,
programs,
right? The Dukes and UNCs, Kentucky especially, right?
Yeah.
It's just a product of the environment, right? Like you need 1 year of college experience or 1 year professional experience to get drafted to the NBA. So all these star players, or not star players, but like these like high caliber players, or like people are expected to go high into the draft, are just there to play 1 year. They don't even care about the education.
They don't care.
That's just how it is.
And to be honest, they don't even care about the team. They're just literally there to play and then get drafted into the NBA, because that's all it is.
Like you think Cooper cared that he lost in the semis? He didn't give a shit.
Oh hell no! He didn't even look upset. He took the shot. He looked off. Whatever, nigga. I'm gone to the NBA anyways.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. And especially now with like NIL deals, like there's even less to care about when it comes to winning. Like there's no fire.
So there's this kid. I think he just left high school. He's going to college this year. I don't remember where he's going. AJ
Arkansas?
No, not Arkansas. But his name is AJ DeBeninsta something. I don't remember the last name, but he's like one of the top players in his class. $7 million NIL deal.
Crazy.
$7 million going into college. $7 million. Wow.
Yep.
I'd sell my ass for $7 million.
Okay.
You probably could actually.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, but do you think he's actually going there and caring? No.
No.
It doesn't matter
With
now. He's got $7 million in the bank.
He got $7 million. Like he got I don't care. Like I'm just here.
If you play it smart, all you need is $7 million. You're set for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But like at the lifestyle that they live though, actually, this is actually pretty funny. A wide receiver on the Chief, I saw this. What was his car was worth $500,000. I think like a contract or something was worth $700,000.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh boy.
There goes his money.
In a $500,000 Rolls Royce, and he has like $200,000 just to spare. That is dumb.
That's just
not
wise.
Come take a class at Raheem's Saving Money School of Saving Money. Come in 2026.
No differations.
So is there anything that you guys want to add before we wrap this episode up?
No, that was a good week.
Yapper Nation, thank you guys for sticking with us through another episode. We will definitely try this week to get the episodes up on Apple Music and Spotify. I am clearly lying to your face because Ronnie's clearly lying to our faces, so I'm gonna lie directly to you through him.
Nope.
Does that make sense?
Lieception.
Lieception.
Differential.
But I 14th episode, you know what I'm saying? A little something. But anyways, we will see you guys next week. I love you guys. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe to the channel, because if you're watching and you're not subscribed, then you're literally an idiot.
Yes, sir. Like Lakers fans.
Peace. We love you guys. Wow. Not like Lakers fan, like
Bye.
Nuggets fan. Anyways, and Blue Jays fan. Bye.